It's a popular belief to say, belief that there is no God is arrived at mainly through using reason. So if you come to the conclusion that there is no God, that happened through reason. But if you come to believe that there is a God, that's a leap of faith. Okay. So belief that there is no God through reason, belief that there is a God through faith. I'm here to tell you, actually, that is wrong. Let me show you, I think, how I can demonstrate that. How belief in God or Christian faith can make sense to somebody today. It's about how it's possible for that to make sense. Now, I would like to make the case right now that should be of some interest to you no matter who you are. How people come to their faith positions, how their beliefs come to make sense to them. I make the case that there's actually two trends that are marked in the world with regard to religion. Here's the one. The one is, and I know what I'm going to say is going to sound counterintuitive to you, but the book explains, and there's really not much doubt about this, that in general, the world is becoming more religious and will for the next 30 to 50 years at least. It's getting more religious. The reasons for that, which are laid out there, is that both Christianity and Islam are both converting people at a rate faster than the population is growing, and that's the reason why they're growing. Secondly, it's also true that religious people have a lot more children than secular people and non-believing people. So you put all that together, all of the demographic projections are that actually the number of people today in the world that say they're secular, no religious preference, is close to 17%. Over the next 35 years, that's going down to about 12% because of these trends I've just mentioned. So on the one hand, religion, the world's becoming more religious. On the other hand, parts of the world are becoming more secular than they've ever been before. Parts of the world are going to be marked by more and more people who say, religion doesn't make sense to me. Belief in God doesn't make sense to me. Now, what this means is that there's two kinds of slogans that you should never believe. One is that religion's going away. It's just not. I mean, I do hear it a lot that religion's dying out, younger people are less religious. Which younger people? Well, the people I know, okay, but you have to look at the world, and it's not true that religion is dying out, and it won't. So the idea that religion is going away is just not true. But the idea that in some triumphalistic sense, that religion will triumph, or Christianity will triumph in the world, that's not going to happen either. And since both these trends are true, religion's not going away, and yet parts of the world are going to become less religious than they've ever been. What that does mean is it should matter to us how people come to their various positions. Increasing numbers of people are finding that belief in a universe without God makes sense to them. They believe in a universe without God, and that makes sense to them. And other people are finding that belief in God and a universe filled with God makes sense to them. How do they get to those positions? We actually often do not really talk enough about that because people don't want to say, how do you get there? By the way, people who lose their religious faith usually say, I just saw the truth. And people who get converted usually say, I just saw the light. But that's not very illuminating. Instead, I'm going to make the case that the process by which we come to our beliefs, to believe in a universe without God or believe in a universe with God, are actually more complicated than that. Is I tackle this simplistic idea. So, for example, one of the things that people say a lot, I see it on the internet all the time, and I talk to people in New York all the time. It's a popular belief to say, belief that there is no God is arrived at mainly through using reason. So if you come to the conclusion that there is no God, that happened through reason. But if you come to believe that there is a God, that's a leap of faith. Okay. So belief that there is no God through reason, belief that there is a God through faith. I'm here to tell you, actually, that is wrong. It's naive. It's simplistic. The fact of the matter is, both sides use a combination of reason and faith. So to press a little bit, to move from religion to secularism, to move from religious faith to secular belief that there is a God, no God, or maybe there's no God. So to move from religious faith to secularism is not so much a loss of faith as a shift in a shift to a new set of beliefs. So if you're religious, you grew up in a church, say, your synagogue, and then you move to being non-religious, I'm a secular person, I actually don't believe in God, that's not so much a loss of faith as actually a movement from one set of beliefs to a new set of beliefs, from one community of faith to another community of faith. Say, well, I know that's kind of a provocative thesis, and not most people think that. Let me show you, I think, how I can demonstrate that. Secular people that I know, I'm not saying this is true of everybody, I'm saying plenty of people I've talked to who say I'm secular or I'm a non-religious person, actually have two sets of beliefs, and they are beliefs. What are they? I will call them proofism and humanism. Now, what's proofism? It's a coined word. It's not the most felicitous phrase, but I'm trying to get at this. What many people will say to me is, I'd be happy to believe in God if you could prove it to me. I'd be happy to believe in Christianity if you could prove it to me. But since there isn't any evidence, you can't prove it to me, therefore I shouldn't believe it. Now, that statement is wrong on a number of levels, and actually is a statement of faith. Wow. Well, number one, when you say you shouldn't believe something unless it can be empirically proven, the problem is that statement can't be empirically proven. For about 100 years, philosophers have pointed that out. To make a claim like that, to make a claim that you shouldn't believe something unless it's proven, is itself a statement that can't be proven. It's an assertion. It's not an argument. It's just a sweeping statement, and it can't meet its own criteria. Secondly, when people say to me, well, I could be happy to believe in God if you could prove it to me, but if you can't prove it to me, I can't believe in God. The problem is that everybody bases their lives on beliefs that they can't prove. If you believe in human rights, if you believe we ought to take care of the poor and not trample the poor, can you prove that? Of course you can't. Actually, everybody bases their lives on deep convictions that just can't be proven. So it's quite wrong to say, for example, to Christians, you've got to prove your beliefs, but then I don't have to prove my beliefs. The fact is nobody, frankly, can prove the most important beliefs on which their life is based. And thirdly, by the way, you probably would guess, especially those of you with a philosophy background, is there's not a lot of agreement on what the word proof means. It is true that I think most people agree it's possible to prove that substance X boils at temperature Y at barometric pressure Z. And therefore, if I can demonstrate that, then we could say that's been proven. But beyond that, how do you prove historical claims? When is a historical claim that something happened 300 years ago, when has that been proven? Or how do you prove any moral values? How do you prove that human rights are important or that they're there? The answer is nobody actually agrees on what proof is, because some people say that was proven, other people say, well, how do you define proof, and so on. So in the end, if you're a person who says, because of my rationality, I cannot believe in God or Christianity, what you're actually doing is you're assuming a set of beliefs about how rationality operates that are really a set of beliefs. And they're not self-evident to everybody. They're contested. So they're really a set of beliefs. To say I can't believe in Christianity because you haven't proven it is a set of beliefs. Then the other thing that besides what I call proofism, most secular people I know also are what you might call humanists. And humanism means they believe it's important that every human being be treated with dignity, that people's rights not be trampled upon, that we not oppress people, that we share our goods and our power with others and not exploit them, right? Most of the atheists and most of the secular or non-religious people I know believe that. But here's a question. How do you prove that? What is that? Not only is that a set of beliefs, but frankly, those beliefs take more faith to believe in. What is the secular view of the world? It's called a materialist view, which is to say there's no supernatural, there's only natural. There's no soul and there's no heaven. It's just everything has a natural cause. So just to show the problem with that, or I like to say the amount of faith it takes to have humanistic values with that view of the world,